You guys want him gone, right? And he's not leaving? You guys want him gone, right? And you don't want him back here? Okay.
So you, that's something on this bad here. So once you get your ticket, you're gonna be on your way?
Yeah, if you want to get this thing back to what you call it, tell you technology. I'm supposed to be better at this. There we go. Yeah, if I get my court date, I want to force this in front of a judge. It's the only way. Um, and I'll tell you right, in case if anybody's interested, I don't know if anybody follows Rebel News or not. They do a lot of Canadian and Australian, whatnot. A lot of these tickets have been kicked out. I don't know if that'll happen here. The reason is they don't want to start a precedence because I wasn't joking. I'm standing on law. They're standing on a collection of rules, of mandates, of recommendations by the CDC. And I was saying earlier to somebody, I was like, when this whole thing comes out, because that whole the court ordered them that they can't withhold the COVID data. It's like hundreds of pages. It comes out drips and drabs. The point of the matter is that when we have our Nuremberg 2.0 trial, I think it's coming, it's going to happen. Everybody's going to run and say, it wasn't me. The CDC, remember now, carefully listen to their words. They're going to say, we never forced anybody. It was a recommendation. The CDC has tons of recommendations, okay? You know? So, and this is it has to end. The fake pandemic, it's never going to end until somebody forces them. And like I was saying about Rebel News, they toss these tickets out. I don't know if that's going to happen here or not, because in other words, they don't have any, the prosecution isn't standing on anything. Like everything you just said, they have the right to, they don't, that right comes to an end at a certain point. Okay. Not guilty, not guilty, not guilty. And that starts a precedence. How are you going to keep having these cops writing these tickets when they're already being proclaimed not guilty? Okay. That was for like, First Amendments and things like that. And that's exactly what they did. What's up, everybody? Total Control 871. Welcome back to BitChute. Welcome back to Rumble. Welcome back to free speech. Okay, people, I said this was going to be a possibility, and damn if it didn't happen. Just moments ago, I was contacted. Well, no, actually, I contacted my public defender to query an update. What's going on with the case. And she told me they're kicking it out. The charge is being dismissed. Like I said, this was a possibility. I'm not shocked. And what's really getting wild and wacky is that I'm not the only one. I believe a few weeks ago, Avi Yemeni down in Australia, he too was reporting that people's cases are being tossed out left and right. I told you, if you were to play chicken with this unlawful prosecution, it will blink. It will move long before you ever will. You just simply got to be brave. You got to be, well, number one, I'm going to talk a little bit maybe about this in the full video that I'm going to do for this, maybe later tonight or early tomorrow, breaking down the whole thing, the whole breakdown of the whole thing as to how the entire thing was just the biggest cluster you have ever seen in your life. Prosecution took one look at this. They looked at the video evidence. They looked at the video that I shot. I'm sure they know about the BitChute channel. After reviewing all the video evidence, hearing the arguments that I've made thus far, on the channel, because I'm sure they probably kept their ears tuned to my channel to see in what direction would I be coming to defend myself. Basically, when I told, because my public defender, She wanted to know, where did I want to go with this thing? I've told her, I want to go to trial. Definitely want to go to trial. I need the precedent-setting verdict. It is not criminal to breathe normal in public. You, as a private business owner, have absolutely no right or authority to incur upon another person's personal agency, bodily autonomy, and their religion, okay? It is both my physical disability, so I refuse to perform self-harm by obstructing my airway. This is defended by American with Disabilities Act, and also freedom of religion. Freedom of religion and freedom from religion. I can be free from the COVID religion. So I just wanted to announce the charge was dismissed. Unfortunately, this is not a happy ending. No. Remember, what was the goal for this entire thing? To get equal treatment. I have to have access for health care. I need to have access to health care, and getting that health care should not come at a cost to my performing self-harm with a face mask or violating my religion, my faith. Okay? It shouldn't come at this. Okay, now if prosecution wants to build its case saying that my faith is a direct threat to the well-being of basically everybody around me. I even had a Mayan Aztec analogy all primed, buffed up, because I'm always getting my case together and whatnot, always going over my case as to what kind of, what I'll be saying in my testimony and things like this. The Mayans, if I'm not mistaken, and it's a religion, whatever you may think of it, when they hauled you, did it have to be a virgin? I don't really know. I guess in a pinch, anybody will do. Because I think they did a lot of sacrificing to volcano gods or whatever the god may have been. Human sacrifice. It was a tenet of their religion. Okay? In this particular instance, prosecution would have little trouble whatsoever, meaning if I were to take it upon myself to want to convert to a Mayan. I want to be a Mayan. I want to practice their religion. Yeah, their religion includes premeditated murder, okay? Probably a number of other crimes too, but that's just for beginners. So prosecution would have very little difficulty whatsoever convincing the court that my strapping a person down to a concrete slab and plunging a dagger into their body would cause death. Okay, and therefore my religion would be a direct threat. My wanting to breathe normally, okay, it is not a direct threat. There is legal precedence for this. Believe it or not, like I said, I'm going to do a whole fleshed out episode on this. Because before you go and do your protest, make sure you're on good legal standing. There's a number of things I want to say about, when you go to protest. Please, for the love of God, have your talking points put together, okay? Don't get out there in the field where you're going to be challenged. Now, you can expect to be challenged, and the next thing you know, you're stammering. You're stammering. As you guys know, if you watched the video of the police encounter, I listed off my exemptions, disabled, religion, I'm transmasculine, I'm elite, I'm above it all, I am celebrating. Now I know some of those exemptions might sound quite comical and ridiculous, but that's what this COVID narrative has deteriorated into. Our society has become ridiculous, a huge and massive joke. Okay, a joke that frankly I don't think anybody is laughing. All right, as we lose our civil rights, have your stuff together if at all possible. If you're an organization, please send the person who is best articulate and maybe even have the best criminal record. I myself don't have a criminal record. How much longer that's going to be, I really don't know as I go to fight this tyranny. But basically, so when you go to court, when you have your trial, you want the best possible person there is. Obviously, don't threaten anybody. Do not scream. Do not shout. Be as lawful as, be lawful. Because remember, what they're asking you to do is unlawful. Okay? So that's what you're going to do. And obviously, peaceful, nonviolent, stuff like that. Try not to be derogatory. No lashing out, no calling people bitches, motherfuckers, and assholes, and all. And none of this stuff. So no name calling when you go to do your protesting. So have your talking points. Keep them brief. You don't want to sit there and give somebody some big long dissertation. Cobble together just a couple of your talking points and have them ready for reading off. Because who are you kidding? If it is a field protest, the chances of you changing anything out there in the field aren't really that great. So if anything, you're reading off your talking points for the camera. For your camera, for the police body-worn camera, this is what you're doing. And do be mindful of that. You are being recorded, just like you're recording them. You're being recorded, okay? All right, so there are just so many things that made this entire thing a complete cluster. Businesses, they think they have this omnipotent, unbridled power, and I'm sorry, but this is just simply patently false. One of the things I had all revved up and ready to go, if I'm not mistaken, I always get the numbers wrong. It's New Jersey House Bill, is it 159? 951? It might be 951. It's some combination of the numbers 9, 5, and 1, or 5, 9, 1. Basically, signed back in 2018. Was it March 18th of 2019? Okay, just before the fake pandemic jumped off. In case you're wondering what in the world is it, it's a bill here in New Jersey. In the entire state of New Jersey, if you have a brick and mortar store, you must, by state law, you must accommodate cash transactions. You cannot have an all credit debit card business. This is for equality, inequity, because not everybody has a bank account. So Phil Murphy, he wanted to make sure that everybody would be able to transact business at brick and mortar stores. Good for him. Okay. Interestingly enough about this, because as the fake pandemic jumped off, now the liquor store near where I live, okay, number one, they were allowed to be open during the lockdowns. I know. That in and of itself was hypocrisy enough to, draw scrutiny onto the validity of this so-called pandemic, okay? That in and of itself. Churches can't be open. No. Churches, gyms, schools, all that, no. But if you want to go get a lap dance, a bar, titty bar, liquor stores, oh yeah, definitely. Marijuana places, yep, definitely, you got it. That's essential. Oh, I didn't know. A little va-va-va-voom. Va-va-va-voom is essential, everybody, in case you didn't know. So here in the state of New Jersey, a little va-va-va-voom is essential. Getting your swag on is essential. Getting 3 sheets to the wind, getting Paul Pelosi blasted to the wind, that's essential here in the state of New Jersey, just so you know, okay? But more to the point, I was on my way back home, Lockdowns had just jumped off in full effect. Okay. So I thought to myself, how about a case of beer, you know? Got a little extra money here, a case of beer. And I was all ready to pull in, but you know what? I didn't necessarily feel like stopping. You know, when you got the bike moving, sometimes you don't feel like stopping. But more to the point is that, would I have been turned away forgot to say this part. The liquor store was refusing cash transactions. Yes, in violation of the state law. I mean, hey, banks were violating federal law by telling people to put a mask on their face before coming in. Did you know that? It's a federal law. You cannot wear them unless you have an actual legitimate medical need. I'm sorry, your theoretical pandemic doesn't qualify. Like if you were emphysema and it was like an oxygen mask, something like that. You're not allowed. You're not allowed to obstruct your face. You're not allowed to, you know, when going into a bank. But hey, that was just one of those many, many laws that just simply, in the wacky world of the fake pandemic, we just simply didn't follow. But anyway, so this liquor store, they were only accepting debit cards and credit cards, no cash, because cash has germs on it. Okay, but there's a state law, you know. So why are the germs, the money dirty, but not the booze, alcohol, lowering of, because alcohol lowers your immune system, depresses your immune system. So arguments could be made for all that. Now, it did cross my mind to pull in the bike, get the phone ready, get the recording ready, and stage a protest there. I mean, you got the codified law, you know, like I got the codified law for the Medcom. You got codified law. I vacillated it, you know, I you know, ruminated over the possibilities. Okay. But I ultimately decided against it, you know, because I'm saying all this, in case you don't know, for strategy. This is strategy building session I'm talking about, okay? We want to pick and choose our battles carefully. And that's exactly why I decided against it. I'm black, overweight, ex-homeless. Do you really want to die on that hill? You know, Your Honor, they wouldn't get, although I wouldn't be speaking in a drunken slur, but you get my point. You know, Your Honor, they didn't let me get the booze that I wanted to buy. The optics of it all just didn't really seem very good. I didn't like the optics, so I decided against it. I wasn't ready to die on the hill for alcohol. It just wasn't that big of a deal for me. But then, of course, then came March of this year, and I get the call from Medcom inviting me to come in, okay, for health care. I was well aware of what would happen to me if I went there without their virtue signal religious devices on my face. Well aware. But I went anyway. Why? Simple. Because I am willing to die on this hill. Healthcare. Equal access to healthcare without having to surrender your faith. Without having to perform self-harm because you're disabled. Yes, I am willing to die on this hill. So, it hasn't been dismissed yet. It's to be dismissed. I don't know if I said it's been dismissed, but sorry if I misspoke earlier. But it will be dismissed. I guess I'll be getting a court notice in the mail sometime soon. I guess maybe one final Zoom hearing. I'm going to protest and object. Objection, Your Honor. Defense objects to the dismissal of the charge. Defense insists upon, I'm going to fight the best I can to keep the matter in court, although my public defender already said that it's been basically decided, I don't know if the judge, the courts, the prosecution, that this is a civil rights matter. Pfft, yeah, duh. I could have told you that, It is a civil rights matter, but of course, the oligarchy have made it clear to all of these civil rights attorneys that you are not to prosecute, you are not to proceed forward, you are not to help these people with their litigation in any fashion whatsoever. And of course, if you do, then your your law license will be brought into question. It'll be, brought in for review. So this is what we have to fight against. So I am fortunately assumed the moment the case is dismissed. One thing that I am going to do, though, because I was going to go immediately back, because I probably end up having to do it anyway, go back to Medcom and just do the whole thing all over again. I am going to call around to probably be some of the same law firms that I've already spoken to, and I am basically going to assess if they have reassessed. There's been progress, people. There's been progress. Out of Michigan. Michigan was a huge victory. The civil court awarded a class action lawsuit, awarded a group of nurses who were fired from a hospital for refusing the mark of the beast experimental injection. So, there's, like I say, I'm going to try. If anything, we have to learn to not make the mistakes or do the things that our enemy has done, because that's how COVID got its traction, got its narrative, because you went straight to DEFCON 1. Lockdown, death everywhere, prepare for death everywhere, field hospitals, oh my God. And of course, it never happened. So, knowing full well that when I go back to Medcom to once again stage, I could very well indeed be arrested and thrown in jail. It's a possibility. I'm going to call around and see if I can get any civil litigant attorneys who are willing to take the case to trial. I don't even want their money. I made that clear to my public defender. By the way, I asked her, I said, well, can you please, because seeing as how she was telling me she learned of the case to be dismissed by talking or conspiring with. Yes, well, I'm still not entirely convinced that she was actually operating in my best interest. When I first spoke with her over Zoom, some extremely strange questions came out of her mouth. She questioned me if I am a sovereign citizen. Do I feel myself above the ruling of the court? I'm like, what are you talking about? Where did sovereign citizen come in? So, she's been withholding discovery. I've been asking for discovery for the past couple of weeks. I want to get this police report. Did the Galloway Township accuse me of being a sovereign citizen? Where is she getting this language from, this terminology from? I want to know. So, I don't know if she actually was working on my behalf. One thing for sure, though, when I asked her, when I last spoke with her today, I said, well, cool, seeing as how you are talking with prosecution, can you please talk to prosecution to talk to Medcom? Can we please come to an amicable agreement here? I don't want their money. I don't want to sue them. That's not what I want. What I want is equal treatment under the law. I don't want to have to choose between healthcare, my faith, and attending to my disability without performing self-harm. I shouldn't have to perform self-harm, and I shouldn't have to surrender my faith just because of your COVID religion. Okay? It is a religion. if it's constantly appearing and disappearing, purely dependent on the political reasoning, okay? When there is an outbreak, what is to become? Put it like this, put it like this, put it like this, and then I will close this out. The inflation bill, you know, that thing that's going to destroy America. All hands on deck, weekend session, marathon session, okay, over the weekend, okay. Well, apparently, it was so critical that every last single Democrat vote be counted, we can't even run the risk of somebody testing positive, because apparently you would have to test members of Congress. They were being forced to test their PCR test. And of course, we just saw how Biden kept testing positive. In other words, guess who suddenly decided that there is no pandemic, or it's not that risky? Oh, so for sating your agenda, for pushing through your toxic bill, okay, you're willing to relax your own COVID mandates when it suits your needs. We don't have to test. Forget about testing. Just come in and vote. Okay. Then we don't need your face mask when we go to the doctor. We can just come into the doctor. Okay? So if you can just go vote without your COVID mandates, then I can go to the doctor without COVID mandates. Hello, come on. Let the church say amen. Okay, hold on. I'm going to do a Holy Ghost dance on that one. Woo! Hey! Thank you, Jesus. Okay? So if you can put together your demonic legislation, all right? If you can do that, then I should be able to go to the doctor without mandates. If you can legislate without mandates, then I can go to the doctor without mandates. All right, that's it for now. You can expect to have a full, fleshed out report. The legal standing, we'll be going over the legal standing. Believe it or not, it was like my search engine knew what I wanted. When I put in, civil rights, can you be denied service, freedom of religion, it immediately took me to, believe it or not, it was a pro-mask website. I did some reading, and basically at this article, it was saying that it was on a law firm. Like I said, the law firms are all under the auspices of the Jew oligarchs, a law firm, and it was trying to say that, yes, private business has the right to do this. They do this because they invoke something in the law called direct threat. Direct threat, huh? My, that sounds interesting. I got curious. What's direct threat? I did a little digging, checking into it. What it turns out is that direct threat is not a tool of prosecution, criminal prosecution, okay? And there's a reason as to why, and I'll tell you that in just a moment. Direct threat, it is a tool of civil defense. You can Google it. What is it? I'll put the link for the distillation. It's like a distillation or a cooked down version of the law website. What they were talking about. Direct threat. This guy, I think it's Hispanic. I want to say Escobar, but it wasn't Escobar. It was this big, long Spanish-sounding name, Esco something or another. Versus ExxonMobil. He was up for a promotion, applied for the promotion, denied. Reason why? He was confirmed to have hepatitis C. Confirmed to have hepatitis C. Apparently, whatever job he was vying for, it would put him in close proximity. In other words, a direct threat potential was there, okay? Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you a bunch of lies. I don't exactly know how contagious hepatitis C is or is not. But the point is that he was confirmed to have it. Okay? And the bizarrity about the whole COVID narrative, if you're paying attention, everybody is treated as if they do have it, thus requiring everybody to wear the virtue signal face suffocator. Okay? But if, by your logic, your COVID logic, if everybody has it and we're supposed to act as though everybody has it, well, then why are we protecting ourselves from it, right? Your narrative is that the mask that you wear protects me, and the mask that I would be wearing protects you, right? But if you are already wearing a mask, that means that you have it, right? So why are you protecting yourself from something that you already have? Why are you protecting me from something that you think that I already have? And if everybody already has it and everybody's doing just fine, except for the severely comorbid, that's another story. If everybody has it and is doing just fine, i.e. the 100 million, I think we're into year 3, I think it's got to be like over 100 million by now, I think. We're over 100 million PCR positives. Did over 100 million people seek treatment or die? No. Okay. So from that deduction, we're able to deduce that either A, your method of testing is flawed, or B, what you're testing for, the virus, the illness you're testing for, is so benign and impotent that if people actually do have it, it's no big deal. Or as I like to say, it's meh 19. M-E-H, meh 19. Okay? Okay. So yeah, like I say, what I found so interesting about the website was that my investigation, my research started by sending me down a rabbit hole that was pro-pandemic, pro-suffocation. But just by following, by course logic, I am able to learn more. That's what happens when you just read the headlines. You got to dig in. What are they actually telling you? And then follow up on that. So I wanted to know, well, what's a direct threat? What qualifies as a direct threat? And the language surround, we're going to look at it more closely, but the language that goes to describe a direct threat, it doesn't come anywhere near close to the fake pandemic, to COVID. It has to be something highly likely, highly imminent, in other words, the law is there to, and believe me, there are always some whacks that, you want to be a what? The blind man who wants to be an air traffic controller, I'm sorry you're blind, but no. And you're not going to be using the ADA as a tool of prosecuting or bringing civil action against the airlines. No. Nobody wants to have a blind air traffic controller. Are you out of your mind? That is a highly likely, highly eminent. This is what the law says, not my opinion. I'm not reciting to you my opinion. This is what the language of the law says. Okay, given the fact that people go maskless all the time, I already said it. What is so special? Going into doctor medical offices, suddenly I and everybody's immune system is so weakened and compromised, therefore we need the virtue signal suffocator. But when you leave and your appointment's over, suddenly your immunity comes rebounding back and you're just doing great to the point where you don't need your suffocator anymore. What was it? Is at the supermarket, Walmart, deli section. I felt so bad for the worker. They were being forced to wear their suffocator. And deli meat. So I'm ordering my meat. And I couldn't help but notice there was about 3 flies just buzzing around, landing on the scale, where the meats and cheeses are weighed. And, you know, do you really think that nowhere in those refrigerated meat cases there aren't more than a few dead flies who went in there, got trapped for a while, and we have immune systems, people. It was so ridiculous where this worker has to be forced to suffocate their face, but you've got flies buzzing around? Stop. Just stop. Like I said, the narrative has become such a laughable joke. Okay, we're going to do a deeper dive. That's it for now. The charges are yet to be dismissed, but they're expecting it to be dismissed when we have our next Zoom hearing, I guess. And of course, I will fill you in when I get the police report discovery. We're going to be pouring over that. We're going to be finding out exactly what the police said, exactly what Medcom staff had to say. We're going to be taking an in-depth, and we're going to be definitely, this is not the end of this. This is not the end. It's just the beginning. It will never be the end until medical apartheid has come to a complete halt, and once again, equality and civil rights reign supreme. Total Control 871.